It's Wednesday. Yeah, there is so much shit going on in my house. You know what? I wonder, can you see? Yeah, okay. Little visual display, if you will. So there are signs all up in my house now, as part of the. Oh, hey, how you doing? As part of the great showing of Casa de Breaksec, our world headquarters here. The, the people came yesterday to take photos of our house, and I'm not so much staged as I was before. Um, down there, it's a Bluetooth speaker, but I also have to move my plant and my water bottle and stuff. And our house, we got rid of the whole couch because they said it would open up the area because less is more, and the idea that the more open it looks, the more room there is, and the more room there is, the more possibilities people can create to make this house theirs. We're not selling our own lifestyle; we're selling the mental image of those people's houses. So interesting concept, interesting psychology there, if you will. Why isn't that not working? Oh, I know why. Okay, let me start that up again. Sorry, I'm. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, there I am. Hello. I'm testing something on Discord. If you are a Discord, what does ad time do? Question: What does ad time do? The redeem. I don't. Huh? Oh, you're not seeing ads, are you? Shit. It's just another thing I gotta fix. Okay, I will fix the ad time stuff. Um, no, no, there's a redeem called ad time. Oh gods, couldn't tell you. I'm hoping to God that it's not like, hey, you don't have to worry about ads or something. But I thought I turned off all the ads, so I probably need to change some of the redeeming things in here. To be honest, there's a lot of moving parts with regards to switching. People creating their own sticker sets, and to be honest, I don't make enough income from this to buy like hundreds of dollars worth of stickers and all that stuff. And um, I'm in the middle of a move, so that's going to have to be put on the back burner as options and things to do in the future. If we ever start pulling in real money on this thing, it'd have to be several $1,000s a month, but of which that will never happen. But uh, an assistant or somebody who wants to help out or be an unpaid intern or groupie, or I don't know what that is. But I'm assuming you can redeem it, but I wouldn't waste the channel points or the bugs or whatever it is for it to do that. My guess is that there'll be an ad that runs, or there won't be any ads that runs, and you'll get to see what happens there. So tempt fate, Bloodbound, if you want to. If you, I don't, I have unlimited bugs, so I don't know what that means. Let me see here. Guide the raid ad time. I highlighted over it, but it doesn't tell me anything. I could click on it, but I don't know what it'll do. Well, let's see. Oh, it says I play an ad. Okay. So yeah, who would who would want to play an ad for 1,500 bugs? That doesn't make any sense. But yeah. Bloodbound says I got a week for an exam called Caucus or something, and after that, assuming I pass, I finally get to start the academy to get my certs. Oh, very cool. Well, I hope you pass that. What does it take to do? Is it a what is Caucus? Is it a college or a university or something? Well, it's an academy of some kind, but I mean, is it like an IT academy or reading test, math and reading? Okay, all right, very cool. Um, hmm. what kind of certs are we talking? Like A plus and Network plus and Security plus, CEH, that kind of stuff. Oh, my co-host is my plant. There it is, the cat palm. I know this is riveting conversation. I really, as I had mentioned in the Discord, at this point, it was like if I don't start streaming today, it'll probably be Friday before I get to do it. So this is my cat palm. It was given to me as a wee plant during the pandemic by my previous employer, which I'm actually happy for. And I'm trying. We're probably going to ship this to San Diego in my car because it's only going to take about 3 days to get there. And I figure it'll survive in the car at about 100, 1,200 miles. But it's actually doing quite well. I've managed not to kill it, which is pretty fun. Normally I have a black thumb about these things. So yeah, two certs. One is like cybersecurity and knowledge on network related items, but hardware wise. Oh, that's very cool. Okay. You gonna be soldering and creating things like before I get a dog, I'm gonna get a plant. Let's see how that goes. Get the cat palm. It's fairly hardy. I mean, I've gone almost a week without watering it, and they suggest not watering it, doing things like not putting it into direct sunlight. Uh, so, I mean, I don't put it there. It normally sits on our fireplace shelf, which is right over there. Oh, crap. That was interesting. Let me turn off my preview because in addition to, hey, Beta Wolf, what's up? In addition to having to stage my house, I'm not plugged into Ethernet for the first time in about 8 months. So I'm using the existing Wi-Fi connection, which I hope is not. My wife is going to come down here and tell me that I've kicked her off the internet or something. But I'm going to spare my frames per second. Do you post your streams on YouTube? Good question, Bloodbound. I'm actually simulcasting it on YouTube right now. So yeah. Um, let me get a link for that. Share, copy. So if you enjoy the Twitches or you enjoy the YouTubes, there's the live stream right now on there, and you can say things. I actually triple cast them normally on LinkedIn as well. This one probably wasn't so security esque, and I was like, I don't want to put that on there. Is that allowed since you're an affiliate via Twitch? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, I'm not exactly a. Am I an affiliate? I thought you have to like stream so many hours and stuff for that. Oh, let me go check. I thought it was only like if you were just clean it out. Yeah, well, I didn't know. I don't know what that means to be an affiliate or whatever on here, so I'll have to go and look. I mean, worse, oh, didn't want that. No, I don't want. I don't want to see that stuff. There we go. Oh. Yeah, I'll have to go look that up. I don't know. I thought that it would they'll like partner level stuff. So if worse comes to worse, then I'll. There's also a website called Kick, and you can also stream there now. Oh, very cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm using an application called Multiple Output from Sorayuki uh, that you can. It's pretty. So, oh yeah, let me. Where's my browser? Hello, Mr. Browser. Oh, it's super big. That's why. Yeah. Yeah, the move stuff is I don't want to say it's starting to take its toll, but we're at the point where we just don't give a fuck anymore. So, um, Yuki, and I think we've yeah, here it is. I think we burned some bridges with our local painter. We've had several things come back yesterday, and he's had to come back a couple times, and he's not replying to messages anymore because we're finding little things that are happening, including one spot on the wall that looks like my wife believes it looks like water damage. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with that. And oh yeah, we're going to be showing the house this weekend, so everything kind of just shows up in magnified. And yeah, so this works with a number. It looks different, but yeah, I mean it allows you to hook up a number of different multiple outputs. So I only stream to YouTube and LinkedIn. I mean you could definitely connect to any site pretty much that has an API or a connection. So, I just come in here, the connections are available, and you can figure out what the RTMP sites are for that and stream accordingly. So, I just cleaned out my office and all the stuff in the home. It's not set up yet, but that's next. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's not fun, Beta Wolf. Yeah, that's not good. That's definitely not good. Yeah, Bloodbound. The other thing is, sometimes InfoSec doesn't like Twitch, which is why I started on YouTube and tried to do it on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I think I figured out LinkedIn properly now, and but I mean, I don't know who's actually watching it. So, so yeah, I'm looking for. I suspended the Patreon because I was like, those folks aren't. I don't feel like they're getting value for just tipping me for that. We're not putting the podcast out on a weekly basis. Um, that was a few dollars. No, not a few. Actually, it was like I think I was getting like $60 a month from like 45 people or something like that. So um, you know, uh, I was looking for other options because I wasn't happy with how Patreon was doing some stuff. And you're all what? You're already pseudo doxing yourself just streaming. To be honest. Oh, uh, well, I mean, what am I showing? Oh, I want to do cybersec on Twitch one day. It's just I fear doxing yourself. Yeah, Bloodbound. It's a it's a really weird thing. Uh, it's I mean I'm not gaming or anything. Um, yeah, you're right. There are some people that are just d bags, and when we since we're not really doing a lot of security today, and I actually had something that I do want to talk about from security point of view or like a leadership point of view, but we can definitely talk about these things. My thing, I spent. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I agonized over the podcast for almost a year before I started the podcast, and the streaming itself. I would say I probably spent 2 years on and off looking at whether or not I could do this. I actually started looking at how to use OBS and all these things back in 2018, 2019, because I was like, oh, this Twitch thing might become kind of big deal. Or I see people on YouTube doing this shit all the time, and I was like, okay, well, I couldn't figure out exactly how to do it. And I obviously, felt like I couldn't do it, and what if it sucked, and what if there was a lot of stuff going on for that, and I felt really weird about it, and then I didn't do it during the pandemic, which would have been the perfect time to have set up a stream because I think a lot of people did. But yeah, it just came up, you know, it was a lot of imposter syndrome and would people actually watch this stuff, and I probably would have been 2.5 years into my stream if I hadn't done that already. So would have been nice to have, but I can't my DeLorean isn't available until 2100, so I'll have to wait until the year 2100 to get my DeLorean to go. So Beta Wolf, yeah, people are processing a bit to back to streaming, but I don't know. I have to definitely go into understanding that you might not be making any money from it, but you can still grow. Yeah, I mean, I mean, if I'd left the Patreon up, people would have continued paying for it because for them it's like $5 a month or something. But I felt like I needed to um, give them some value for something, and tip jar just wasn't going to cover that for feeling like they were supporting something. So um, a couple people did ask if I had PayPal and stuff, which depending on who you talk to, is the worst, worse than even than Patreon. So, but yeah, we're I'll start it back up, but I I feel like if people are going to support me on Patreon, I need to be able to give them something for that. Some value for value kind of bits. So you can still subscribe here, or you can, you know, I do have a PayPal if people want to use that. They can send some cash over that way if they want to do that. If they want to do that. Oh, by the way, we have Raul the Spy. Thank you for following Geyer Security, GYRE Security, Geyer Security. Awesome people just started following me today, so I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, so this week, this week was horrendous. Like yesterday, like I said, an hour and a half for photos. Um, where everything has to be perfect, just perfect, chef's kiss, perfect on with the idea that we're going to be having that discussion. We had a discussion yesterday about 5 o'clock pricing out the house. Um, and yeah, so the cleaners are coming tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. to do God knows what. They're probably going to do things like, clean underneath the kitchen stove and the refrigerator and get all the cobwebs and scrub the walls if there's any kind of scuffs or anything on the stuff down here. We of course painted my office. We spent 4,000 on that. So let's see. Bloodbound says, I mean, if you got a place for formal feedback, I can provide it. It's just the world is big. Some people have not discovered you, or you may not be for everyone, or people enjoy the streamer, same cybersecurity topic, but a different faucet. Right. Oh, no, sorry, Beta Wolf. It wasn't 4K for one room. We actually painted this room. You know what? Oh, yeah. I actually took photos from Redfin and Zillow of what the house looked like before we've done all the changes to the house. Maybe one day, you know, for an exciting stream, we'll sit down and look at pictures of what my house looks like versus what it looks like now. Or not, Um, someone tried charging me 28K for the whole house. That did not happen. Yeah, no, I think we painted the upstairs guest bedroom, which was a red color, reddish color, almost a purple. This was the orange, the burnt orange that you see or you saw. We also had them do. They had to do my wife's office again because the color didn't exactly match. So then they did our bedroom, the primary bedroom, primary suite, if you will, our bathroom. So yeah, it was roughly half the house, and then they had to go back and do touch ups and things. And I think that's where we hit the thing. There were like curtain mechanisms and stuff that were bolted into the wall from the previous owners, and then they took those out and they left the holes. And the painters came in and they did the holes and everything, but the paint cracked over the top of them for some reason. Maybe they didn't, the drywall wasn't good or something. So there was enough touch ups, and we're working through that. But we put in, all new. We've done a lot of stuff in the 9 years we've been here. We took out all the carpet, put in new flooring, renovated the kitchen, done all that stuff. And you make upgrades. And actually, I've thought about this. Organizations do that too, right? Not from a security point of view, but we make upgrades. We get rid of file integrity monitors that have been around for 15 years, or you look around your house, whatever your security environment looks like, and you've got that quaint little area. Oh, that looks nice, but it's hasn't been upgraded in years, or this Cisco thing is end of life, and we really should upgrade it, or this system that we were using for automation is really ugly and doesn't make a lot of sense, but we like to keep it for sentimental value, or whatever. Hey, Wicked Blue, what's up? How you doing? And the house is the same thing. It's like, oh well, we have the same shade of you know color in all of the rooms. It looks nice, but we have to replace it. And sometimes that adds value. And so our realtor said the paint won't add value to the house. It will make it quicker to sell. And that's I think some of the things that we do for security. Not I'm trying to put a security bent on some of this. It The security bent for an organization is it doesn't add value, but it makes it easier to secure things. or I don't know what. Well, maybe that's not a good example. So it would be, does it makes you more secure? I don't know what the equivalent to that would be. Instead of, adds value to the house, like, the kitchen renovation, we spent $60,000 on. It's going to add $40,000 of value. No, it's actually great because it's kind of what I'm doing now, and the whole company is on a bender for saving money. That save money, but it's mostly security. Right. I mean, in this case, you're adding value, or you're adding security, or you can add both. Right. So, like, we have a deck, and we had some friends who are realtors, and they're like, "Yeah, the deck looks nice. It'll be something that people can go, ah, I really want this house because it has a deck. You know, the original the original pictures, you if you know could figure out where we lived, had like a bare river rock kind of concrete slab, which was kind of ugly, and we put a deck over it. So we're already different than some of the houses with the similar design in the area because we have a deck. So it's like, ah, well, what makes your house different? Ah, well, we have a deck instead of this really ugly looking, concrete stuff. So it brings, for some folks, it would bring value. For some, it would make it quicker to sell. Like, oh man, we got to have that house because of that. I think it's the same for security. It's like, do we bring value? Do we increase the security, or do we just bring value to, what's going on in the organization? Well, Wicked Blue painting does make it look newer, but our realtor said that it only thing it does is by making it some god awful white color or lighter color, um, doesn't turn people off. Like if this was painted polka dots or in black or something like that. hey, hey, Walt, glad you could come and hang out. Yeah, I mean, obviously, somebody who doesn't like white is going to come in and repaint this once they come in, or maybe they're like, oh, it's all this ugly white color. We're gonna make this one this black like my heart or something in one of the bedrooms, or they'll change the color to what they want it to be. But if they come in and they go, oh my God, this is in pastels or something. Who the hell thought this? I don't like this. I don't want to have to deal with this and move in here, and this is ugly and whatever. They're gonna, they may go to another house. It's a psychological thing, right? You want them to envision this as their house. So yeah, our kitchen will add value and it makes the house sell quicker. The deck will add quicker to sell, but not necessarily value. And um, things like flooring, adds value, and that air conditioning adds value quicker to sell because people don't have to spend the 8K to get in, air conditioning in. So there's some things that's like, it'd be nice to have. If I added a pool table in here, somebody comes in looking for a pool table, it makes the house sell easier, but it may not add value to the house. As a matter of fact, it may reduce the value. If you find somebody who's legitimately able to come in and, hey, wow, I want a pool table in my house. Well, there you go. You got a pool table. I only say that because we moved into a house in Austin and it had a pool table. And I was like, oh, yeah, let's keep the pool table. I used it maybe the first year and a half of the 4 years we were there, and then I never used it again. So, lesson learned. But security's that way. You have things that make you more secure, or things that um, increase visibility or observability in your organization. Does one necessarily bring the other? Not necessarily. So there, there's your security for the day. No, that's not the thing I had. I saw somebody uh, talk about the Department of No, and I forgot where it was in security being considered the Department of No. It's like every time you go and do something, we say no, and I don't know why we do it. I don't know if it's that's the reputation we get where we're just no, you can't do that, no, you can't do that. Work this week is also not on top of all the other shit I got to do this week. I had to talk to a VP this week. Some really ugly stuff came up, and it's like, great, I've got to deal with that, and I've got to deal with the home stuff. So, just 1 second. Let me. Okay. All right. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's just been a had a room that was deep red and green like a Christmas room. Now that's gone. Yeah, I actually liked the orange color. I thought it was fairly warm in here. I would have probably made it a little darker orange, not like a like UT Austin kind of thing, but UT Austin, like a burnt orange. Let's see where's their colors at. Yeah, so their colors are something similar to this. This was a little bit darker in here. So um, but yeah. So anyway, back to the Department of No. The same people who get they don't realize their reputation as the Department of No, but um, they want to be consulted and informed, and it's like um, the, the thing I got out of it was the same people who constantly tell people no, then want to be consulted, but they don't know why they're not being consulted, and if you're always the Department of No, or you're always the people throwing up roadblocks to getting stuff done, you shouldn't be surprised when somebody doesn't consult you on something because they already know your answer, right? I came up with that today. One of the meetings that I had, and that's what reminded me of this, was that um, we have this thing that we want to launch. I'll be very, very, very non-specific here, and we'd already told this team they couldn't launch this thing, and because of XYZ ABC issues, and it needed to be redesigned. And they were like, "Okay, great. We're going to go back. We're going to redesign it. It's great. Yeah, here's the redesigned thing." We're like, "Okay, great. It's new. It's yeah, that's better. We'll go ahead and work on that." And then we got rumblings that the original design was actually going to go because business justification is such that um, you know sometimes you spend a lot of time working on something and somebody people had their heart set on it and it's going to go. So uh, in the previous incarnation, the security people were like, "Yep, nope, that's not going to go. That's nope, nope, can't ship, not going to happen." And it came down that I got invited to this meeting today, and the questions that I was trying to ask was, what are we doing to make it better? Can we add some things to it? Can we subtract things to it? Can we do stuff on the back end? Can we do stuff on the front end? What if we did this? Trying to ask questions to. It's okay, Digital Warhead. It's you know moving and all that stuff. If I didn't have to worry about moving, it wouldn't be nearly as stressful. But that's just what's going to happen. I'll continue my story, but please feel free to put in your good news. I hope that's good. Oh, thank you, Digital Warhead. God. So I was sitting down with product. Oh God. Thank you, Digital Warhead. Thank you, Bloodbound. That's yes, yes, Bloodbound. It's very much humorous. So I was sitting down with head of product people and privacy and legal and all these folks and saying, hey, could we do this? Could we do this? What if we did this? Uh, you know, we're and trying to collaborate with this, and trying to steer away from the you're not going to do this. And when I briefed the folks who were on this originally after the fact, they're like, "Oh yeah, let us know because we're going to get that killed." And I'm like, "Look, you can't. There are reasons to legitimately get rid of things, but if the team shows good faith and understands the risks, and there's enough people who accept those risks, things get pushed out." You know, um, uh, there are a number of and we've talked about this in the past and in recently. Security people have been able to latch on to this is going to hurt profits. If you get breached, your stock is going to go down and you're going to have reputation damage. Walt says, "What is worse, not to be consulted or informed, or being informed and then not having your input ignored?" Well, to be fair, I was not informed. I found out because I just happened to. Well, I guess that's informed, but for me, informed means like being told this instead of finding it out passively. Um, I don't. I would say not being consulted or informed at all is worse than finding out and then not having your you said not having your input ignored. I would see. I would imagine we were informed and our input was such that we got the thing. We got the product in this case, app or service or device or mobile app or whatever, put on the back burner for a while. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. The worst thing would be not being asked at all and whatever it was launched product, app, service, and then you find out only because it was either shows up in a black hat talk as, oh, look how easy this was to do or own up, or people could use this for ransomware, etc. I think that's probably the worst thing. Just but taking a hard line on things, I don't think we have that luxury anymore. And if we continue to treat ourselves as the Department of No, or people talked about security in terms of roadblocks, or there's light at the end of the tunnel, but the train is the light that you're seeing, and it's the security train coming, and it's going to run you over. You know, I mean, I don't know. But I'd like to think that I was less than like let's nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure today, and I tried to work with the teams to find ways forward. You know, even going so far as to look inside of white paper specs that have been released to go, hey, could we potentially leverage this to do X? And somebody was like, that's a good idea. We should probably check that out. We could probably do something like that. But you know, I don't know if it's those Harvard classes I've been doing, but it's like you have to find a way forward, and a brick wall is not a way forward. It's either you recognize the risks, you codify the risks, you get management to accept them. That's all security can do, right? I mean, we can't take it upon ourselves to internalize this and go, if it's not my way, it's no way at all. There are legitimate reasons to put those things out. And, sometimes you got to pick those battles, right? And if something launches, you voiced your concerns. If it ends up in the media as being a complete clunker, that's not your problem anymore. That's PR's problem. PR has better playbooks than security ever did for communicating, which is one reason why you should try to leverage them whenever possible. If you're sending out internal memos or emails or announcements or something, they have better playbooks. They can get out in front of the messaging on things that are going out. Uh, the best you can hope for is to, hey, Terradol. Wow. Oh my goodness. Hello, Tiberius. Well, welcome. Hello, Just a Guy. How are you doing? Thanks for everyone. Yes, Age of Music, the break sec. It is the break sec. Do not adjust your horizontal or vertical controls on your TV. We are here. We're hanging out. Hello, Rose Croy. Welcome. Thank you for following. We're just talking about messaging. We're talking about the Department of No, roadblocks, trying to. Tiberius is an absolute beast. Shout out to Tiberius. Thank you so much. Yeah, I learned about shout outs because I believe who hit me, who gave me a shout out. Oh, Al Hazard gave me a shout out the other day, and I never got to thank Al Hazard properly for that. So thank you for Tiberius sending over his minions to come and hang out with us for a while. So yeah, definitely shout out to Tiberius here. And yay, hey Al Hazard, how you doing? Yep, glad everybody could be here. But yeah, so it's one of those things where we internalize this stuff, and there's a lot of stories at conferences. If you have an adult beverage or you have a beverage with somebody, they'll tell you a story about something that got sent out or something that I stopped this from happening or what have you. And um, I think uh, I'm going to vote no in the poll. I don't know what the poll is, but I appreciate that, Tiberius. Thank you so much. But there are ways that we can le- at least voice our opinions, and if we do it in such a way, and because there's no more reputation damage, there is no more bad press, right? PR is going to be able to get in ahead of the oh, I see. There is no reputation issues anymore. There aren't. PR has beaten us at our own game in terms of reputation or brand damage or stock price damage or anything like that. Security people need to suggest things. The de facto standard. When I started out in this industry, I treated everything like compliance. It's like you must do this, you must do this. Yeah, you can must all you want, but I will hydrate. Thank you so much, Jessica. My co-pilot plant. Oh, got to hydrate my co-pilot. Make sure that they stay running. I'm stretching. Thank you so much. So, uh, yeah, I treated everything kind of like compliance. Security being like you must do this, you must do this. There's no musts, right? Everything, there's a waiver for anything. We used to say that in the Navy. Oh yeah, you're disqualified from this. You can get a waiver for anything. That's how products work. That's how apps get launched. That's how devices get worked. There's always risks. There's always things that have to be accepted. Security people shouldn't necessarily be the ones accepting that. And that's something that I think we forget, where it's like we take too much on ourselves and we assume that if it goes out and we know of the risks, then we've done a poor job. And there's, I've actually trying to change my own thinking about all this because I have, in the last few years, I've been like out on a lot of different technologies. IoT, I was like, oh, I'm not going to have any IoT devices in my house. I have a light. I have an internal camera. The camera now points outside and it doesn't point inside my house. But I I realized that I shit on these technologies, but I don't use them, so I really don't understand how they work. And I don't know if it's we all do that or if it's just that was the way I was doing things, but I shit on a lot of technology that didn't I didn't want to use because I felt like it was poorly manufactured. There are a ton of people out there trying to do the right thing. And it's not all just floating toilet seats. There are legitimate people out there trying to secure things. They're trying the best of intentions to do their best at putting out a product that people will want to use. And From a security point of view, if you built something that was, Fort Knox secure, nobody would want it. And I say I saw the call go out for friends and encouragement, so I'm here to say, oh, hey Taggart, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so Taggart, last time I talked to you, May of last year, I'm moving down to SoCal, and I'm like 90 days in. So we're like 90 days. Last day in Seattle is going to be June 24th. So we're going to be, we're packing everything up. So I appreciate all that. And yeah, MT Taggart, by the way, shout out to Taggart. He does a lot of stuff on Saturday mornings. If you have a chance to go check out his stream, go do that because he's doing a bunch of awesome stuff as well. And he's a better educator than I am. So, um, you know, I'm just learning Golang. But so, uh, have you hit, have you hit the Purple Bar and Cafe in Seattle before? I have not. Let us go see what the Purple Bar and Cafe is. I have heard of Biscuit Bitch. That's something. Purple Bar and Cafe. Yeah, so I have not been to this place. This looks nice. Um, so contrary to popular belief, um, I don't go to downtown Seattle a lot. I live in the suburbs. Okay, my wife's talking to somebody on the phone. I rarely go down to Seattle, and check out Google images of it. It's fancy, but a chill spot. Uh, okay, check out that. Oh, holy crap, that's a wall of wine. Ooh, I like the charcuterie tray. That's nice. The little flatbreads and the cheeses and the olives can be heated into the sun, but there's like some tapenade here. Yeah, I got some nuts and fruits and stuff. It does look a bit upscale. I mean, you got a dude in a suit coat here and stuff. Oh, that guy's got a short sleeve shirt on. Wallow wine, Wallow wine in Washington. That's right. Uh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of upscale. Yeah, filthy. That's just filthy. Just ugh, gross. Those are olive. Olives are filthy, and I will not hear debate otherwise on that. You can eat that shit right into the sun. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's so many awesome places to go eat in Seattle. I have yet to be at them. We don't go down there. We go to Pikes Market when people come visit, or we go to the Space Needle when people come and visit. It's like one of those things. It's like, oh, you must go to, you know, X place all the time. It's like, yeah, no, no, we live here, and that's where the tourists go. Sadly, but yeah. So anyway, where was I talking about language? Oh, hello, 49 viewers. It finally updated. We talk about security. Talk about MT Taggart. My parents will. I've been to Walla Walla. It's the wine country out there is nice. We stayed at a place called what was it Cameo Mansion, Cameo Heights Mansion. Yeah, we stayed at this place just outside of I believe Walla Walla. Huge mansion thing. We stayed in one of these rooms. They had themed rooms and everything, and we had a driver to drive us around and yeah, the pool's nice. I think it was a little too chilly for the pool when we were there, but you having a driver who takes you through the services and everything. No, Cameo Heights. I got it right here. Cameo. What did I say? Cameo. What? It's. I'm getting heckled in my own house now. So, jerk. Yeah, jerk the handle. There you go. Okay. Or so we're getting a. No, not that handle. Oh my God, my wife. uh, Walt is thank you so much for hanging out, Walt. Yeah, our current TV is also going out, so the HDMI cable has to be jiggled so that the screen comes back. Otherwise, it has these like weird artifacts and everything. So we're just limping along with this TV until we can get rid of it. But yeah, this is nice. It's like 15, 20 minutes outside of town, but of Walla Walla area. So, but yeah, it's good times. So good food too. So. Yeah, I'm looking at a like a UHD TV there, Beta Wolf. I was like, oh yeah, we need to get like an 85-inch TV, and it's like I don't, I'm in San Diego. I actually want to do it right this time and not like be in our house all the time. So we may get like a nice 55-inch for the living room, and then have something outside where we'll be able to sit and watch TV in our hot tub and our pool and stuff. So, and y'all can come and visit. I mean, just call before you show up because something might happen. We might not be at home. But, for the 49 viewers that are here, going to be in San Diego. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in San Diego. Um, I didn't know there was a difference about OLED. Inside TV, definitely go OLED. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to go Beta Wolf. To be honest, anything that's 4K will probably be just fine for me. Um, yeah, yeah, we're just going to. Yeah, I don't know that I don't know there's much difference for OLED. I mean, we're going to have solar panels and everything. I know the blacks are blacker on the OLED, but yeah, the boy, we got on a stream of consciousness, didn't we? So, uh, where was I? Yeah. So anyway, security people, we got to get better at being a bit more. I don't want to say lenient, but I think we need to stop taking on the mental uh, effects of like, well, I did my best, but they didn't listen to me. I think we need to be better about how we're handling risk. I used to internalize that shit a lot. It's like, well, if they didn't take all of my recommendations or all of my ideas, then obviously they weren't doing a good job, and I should. I think so. Rose. I think our next meetup for CSEC East is in Kirkland. You might want to check that out too. Digital Warhead. If you've got a link, you should hook that up. Yeah, Age of Music. Yeah, I think we have to come at security in a different way, right? Be a bit more pragmatic about it. Um, I know that there are people that still cling to the idea of, um, yeah, uh, people, it's got to be all secure. It's not going to be secure at all. There's always going to be people tinkering with our shit. There's always going to be, you know, we talk about the idea of, the time boxed pen test being 2 weeks, but a bad guy has forever to look at something. Yes, given forever budget time, forever time budget, they're going to find something, right? Um, I used to want to move to Seattle until Chaz and Chop happened. Now Seattle's Washington, San Francisco. Um, you don't have to live in Seattle, Rose. You know, I live out in a lovely place called Snoqualmie, which is where they did a lot of the filming of Twin Peaks. The waterfall you see in the I don't, yeah, it's a movie, it's a TV show from the 80s. But Snoqualmie, North Bend, Auburn, Issaquah, those areas are really nice. There's plenty of trails and stuff out here to be active in if you wanted to go that route. You don't have to live in Seattle. You may work in Seattle, but there's so much other stuff you can do in the Seattle area, the Pacific Northwest. Um, but back to my point about the security stuff. Are you going to come in? Well, you can come on in if you want to. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, there you go. Should push the door open. Yeah, the Olympic Peninsula is lovely. I mean, if you want to hike or bike or you know, uh, do anything, there's a ton of stuff to do. You don't have to live in Seattle. You can live across the Cascades if you really like it. The Tri Cities area I've heard is pretty nice. You know, and Ocean Shores, that area on the Pacific is really nice too. Anywho, because I'm hemorrhaging viewers, uh, it builds up mental issues, right? Uh, our failure. Of, oh, you yes, Spokane is lovely. It's that area is quite lovely in Spokane. They get snow and colder temperatures over there. If you salmon fish, yes, you can definitely salmon fish. I think there's pretty much anything you could want to do here. Um, it's a quick trip up to Canada, so Victoria is just a ferry ride away. Uh, but but yeah, I think that some of I wouldn't say our instability, but I think a lot of our um, pessimism in information security kind of goes two ways, right? we get this idea that what we say goes because we're security and everybody wants to be secure, right? And we raise questions, and if it doesn't work out the way we planned, we tend to, at least I did for a long time, internalize that as they don't give a shit. And if I, if I don't put something out, and the reason I don't advertise where I work at is because we're in the news, you know, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's mostly bad. And I don't like advertising myself because I've seen people on Twitter who've like, "Hey, I know this person works for Microsoft. I'm going to go talk shit about that." And it's like, I don't need that. You know, I don't need that. I don't need that discussion. I don't need that person who's ignorant that thinks, because I live in Seattle, I'm all Seattleites. If I work at Microsoft, I'm all of Microsoft. You know, and a lot of what I worked at previous organizations where I said something and they didn't follow it, I'd be like, well, they don't care. I didn't do a good job of explaining that, and that would kind of wear on my mental state a little bit. And it's only after I've started taking these leadership courses that I'm like, it's not me. I'm not the one. I don't have a problem. I care too much, or I expect a specific idyllic landscape, if you will, and there's going to be vipers everywhere, regardless. And my idyllic landscape of complete security doesn't work with everyone else. And sometimes I have to live in their landscape. Sometimes I want them to live in mine. There, instead of a nice, happy little tree, I'm going to get a conifer over here, something like that. Sometimes it's going to work in my it's going to work in my favor. Sometimes it's going to work in theirs. It's a negotiation, right? And if they decide they want to accept that risk, organizations need to have mechanisms and process in place for a paper trail and audit to accept those risks and understand those, especially if it's something that is going to be released to public, or maybe something's going to be released internally. So I think it's it's funny. The more I try to get out of information security, the more I see how I've screwed up in security, uh, in in many ways, where I'm like, okay, that's why they're doing that. That's why the normies are doing stuff the way they are. And so, yeah, um, boy, I got to get off that. So yeah, before I started on here, so in our Discord, which I've boosted back up to level 3, so we do have the vanity tag again. If you want to join me in our Discord, I actually have the voice and the video channel on right now for those of you who would like to join in. And I'm working some things out so that way, maybe if you're a sponsor, you boost the Discord, you'll have access to this channel on the reg, where you can come and join and talk shit to me in my ear, or hear it on the stream or what have you. So, but yeah, we have a lot of good stuff going on in there. I'm actually, through book 11 of the Wheel of Time now. But so I'm going to shift gears for a second. I'm not going to talk about security at all. I've been watching The Dragon Prince on Netflix. Anybody seen that? Anybody seen that at all? Because it's animated, and the first season was the one thing I picked up on, and I don't know why I did this, but it was very choppy, the animation. It was almost like they would cut out frames to save time and rendering effort. Um, it's called The Dragon Prince. Let me. Okay. This was something else I figured out. If you're watching it, if you set up a voice channel on Discord for audio and video stuff, um, when you set the virtual camera in OBS and you show it in Discord, the Discord it's reversed, and I probably can't show the Discord screen. Um, or here I can do, yeah. So the Discord screen that shows the virtual camera when you go into the voice channel, it's actually flipped around for me, but it looks normal for everyone else. And I spent forever trying to get an answer to this because somebody else had the same issue. You couldn't flip it around, and I was like, oh, why is it doing that? I don't want everybody seeing something in reverse. And they said, oh, it's flipped only for you. And I was like, oh, okay. So I spent like a couple of weeks trying to figure this out before I actually got on the right screen for that. So anyway, Dragon Prince, it's smart enough to know what I am doing. So yeah, it's it's animated. It's not anime. It's animated. Um, I'm watching it, and I have some real issues with some of the characters. So it's not bad, Beta Wolf. I mean, the story is nice, and I like the. Hello, are you giving it massive? We're definitely not talking about information security right now. Just a little peccadillo about Dragon Prince. I find find some of the characters a bit irreverent. Are you giving it massive? So, the one thing I don't like doing, are you giving it massive, is going, oh my god, you must watch this. It's awesome, or whatever, because it turns me off when people do it to me. Like, oh my god, you must watch it. It's the most awesome thing ever. It's something to watch, right? It's on Netflix. It's something to watch. Um, the issue that I've got with it is some of the characters, mainly the antagonists of the group. Um, I don't see them as evil, even though they're trying to be evil. And one of them is, in particular, the character Claudia. Uh, I don't understand how they can trust her and then not trust her and then trust her again and then like she's evil but then she's not. And then it's like I don't know if they're trying some kind of redemption arc thing, but yeah, I expect her to be darker and like not giving a shit. And it's like, oh yeah, really, really serious, really, really serious, and then all of a sudden she breaks into a joke, and I'm like, what kind of writing is that? I mean, it's got a great story. I mean, I can follow it and I understand what's going on, and I don't hate the story, and I'm continuing to watch it because it uh, it's definitely going in directions I wouldn't have expected it to
It's
be.
definitely going in directions I would.
Oh my,
It's simply going in directions. It's simply going in directions.
you probably need to mute your stream there, Beta Wolf. If you're gonna hook up
Yep.
later. There you go. Um,
It's on. I'm watching on my phone, and then I'm joining from my laptop. And I wanted to do the opposite, except that my laptop, the laptop that I joined from, in this particular laptop, has apparently really horrible sound, so I could
ah,
barely hear your Twitch stream. So
okay,
I
but
was just like,
you can
I'll,
hear
I'll
me
join
though.
the
Yeah,
opposite way. I'm gonna
you
mute
can hear me.
myself though.
That's good. Okay. So yeah, I'm hoping the video that you're the image you're seeing there, Beta Wolf, is not reversed. You can read the text and stuff. But yeah, it's got an interesting magic system. It's just something mindless. I'm not going to be watching Mr. Robot and shit when I'm out and whatever and about. But yeah, I'm not going to go through all of this. But it's it's going in directions I hadn't expected it to go, and which is interesting. I like the diversity of the cast, and I like the fact that one of the badass knights is using sign language and stuff to speak, which I thought was kind of cool. But I have an issue with how some of the characters are written, but the overall, it's not bad. I would no, still haven't watched Mr. Robot. I'm good. You know, that was one of those ones where everybody in InfoSec was like, "Oh my god, you have to watch this! It's so awesome!" I'm like, "Yep," that turned me off. So I just watched it on Wikipedia, and it was really good. In my head, really good stuff. It's not hard, Beta Wolf. It's you just don't watch it, right? Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Nope, haven't watched *Halt and Catch Fire* either. Again, it's one of those ones that was like, "Oh my god, why? How can you not have?" Exactly. Yeah, turn off. And I hate that about myself, honestly. But it's just one of those things where people have such a visceral reaction to how awesome something is, and it's like it just makes me like,
I I get that. That's how I feel about Hamilton. Or yeah, that's what it's called, right? Hamilton. That's
yeah, yeah,
exactly how I feel about it. I dated someone that was obsessed with Hamilton and kept on pushing it and pushing it and pushing it.
yeah.
I still have not watched it. I have no. I mean, I know what it's about, but I refuse to watch it,
Yeah.
and that's why I don't watch things when they come out. Like, I only watched the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones when that came out,
Yep.
and then I only recently completed the entire show,
Oh, cool.
and my feelings have remained exactly the same. I won't voice them because it's controversial, but
Yeah.
my feelings towards the show has was the same for the first 3 seasons, and then ended up being the same for the entire show. So I'm glad that I waited,
Yep.
but it didn't really go anywhere for me. Now, a show that I should have watched when it came out was Spartacus, because
Okay.
that was a really big show. It blew up when it came out. It was a Stars show,
Yeah.
and I watched that like almost 7 years after the fact, and it was worth waiting because it was just so good.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah, we just started watching Star Trek Picard because we know it's in the final season. So we caught up on the first and second seasons, and yeah, like you with Game of Thrones, I think we waited until they were on season 5 before we started watching Game of Thrones, because it was like everybody was all gaga over it. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of a killer, and I think we caught up like in the second to last episode or something like that. But yeah, yeah, it's just really weird how visceral the reaction is for
funny,
me.
I did not like season 2 of Picard. I think I had some issues with the ending and the storyline that
Mm,
like kind of threw me off.
yeah.
I processed it deeper and I kind of understand why they went that way, but I just didn't care for it. It basically just turned. Well, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone that's not watched it yet and is going to. But or was it season? I think it was season 2 ending. Yeah, I was just kinda like, "What why did that just happen?" And
Yeah.
it threw me off completely, and I'm gonna get back to watching it eventually. Because surprisingly, unlike a lot of people, I actually like Discovery. I thought that that was
Yeah.
fantastic, but that's
Oh yeah.
because I went into Discovery with the understanding that, um, some weird rule is gonna get created, and then the word is gonna disappear, and no one's ever gonna talk about it again. And
Yeah.
that was like that's I went into it like that. And because I went into it like that, I wasn't like a lot of people were online screaming about how the ship was overpowered and this would never exist in the Star Trek universe. And I'm like, no, it exists and it will cease to exist because someone at the Federation will go, that ship is too overpowered. You can't have that ship out there in the wild like that. What if it gets captured? So we're gonna scrap it. Spock, you're never gonna tell anybody anything because you're like just so hard coded. And he was like, "Yep, I agree with this sentiment," and no
Nice.
one says anything,
Minor
and that's
spoilers
it. And
there. Minor
I think it
spoilers
goes
there.
very well with the
Yeah.
original storyline.
The thing that got me about Picard, especially, is I watched the original series multiple times. I've watched TNG multiple times, Next Generation multiple times. I watched DS9 all the way through. Actually, considering now I'm a bit older and a bit more mature, it's probably my favorite series. I watched Voyager all the way through. I did not watch all of Enterprise, and I probably should do that, but because I actually know some of the actors who were on Enterprise. Uncle Dom is my daughter's favorite, Dominic Keating, um, and so I liked the fact that they could tell a coherent story and an excellent story. The storytelling, I think, on season one, I think had to happen. I think, hello, I don't, yeah, hey, Subliminal Clan, appreciate you coming and hanging out. What I liked was, you watched the old episodes of TNG, and it was like everything was, Trek no babble. Everything had to have a dilithium crystal or an inertial dampener or a ruptured plasma conduit or something like that. They've managed to tell a good Star Trek story without inserting a ton of like Trek no babble to kind of explain shit away. And I think that's what I like about it. They didn't have to resort to hand wavium and unobtainium and stuff to get that to happen. And for me, that was nice to see. I didn't hate season two. I actually understood where it was going, and after you watch, so what I would say is when you watch season, Picard, if you watched Picard, go back and watch Next Generation. especially like Chain of Command and some of those episodes where Picard undergoes some really nasty stuff. Like everybody yells there are four lights as a joke and stuff. He was being tortured, and people use that joke as, oh, there are four lights. He was being tortured by somebody, and that's why I've stopped using that meme, because I was like, we're making light of somebody who's being tortured by Cardassians, and I've stopped using that. But it if you watch it knowing some of this backstory now, oh, okay, yeah, Beta Wolf, yeah, I actually didn't hate that. I think Picard had to have that to happen in some cases, because it helps set up some of the characters and stuff. But I I liked I liked I like Picard, and I'm waiting for season three. I think we're gonna wait probably a couple more weeks for season three to be done, so we can watch it all the way through. But I heard it's pretty good from some of the friends. Are not going, oh my god, it's the best ever, but it's good. And I've actually watched some of Discovery. There are some purists that are like, oh, you must have it must be like TNG, or it must be like the original series. I only like my Klingons with ridges on their foreheads and stuff. Um, and then people had really strong feelings about the Chris Pine and the Kelvin era stuff, and looked like it was filmed at an Apple store or something with all the lens flare. Um, it's just you know. Meanwhile, everything Star Wars is beating our ass here. We've got a ton of stuff for Star Wars, and we have Paramount, who's just barely hanging on with their stuff. So it's good to see anything Star Trek in this case. So I can't even believe we're talking about all this right now. This is pretty awesome. Yeah, yeah, that lens flare that'll get you 100% of the time. Um, but yeah, well, it's the odd curse, right? The Beta Wolf. If you watch the originals, the Kirk and Spock movies from Voyage Home and all those, they had the odd curse. It was like number one kind of sucked, but number two was good because it was Wrath of Khan. Number three sucked because it was that Search for Spock or whatever, and then it was like number four was the Voyage Home, which everyone seems to love, but I was not a fan of that one. And then you had five, and then it's like six. So um, but yeah, number four was a Voyage Home with the whales, sir. Yeah, yeah. Well, of course, because it was not an odd one, right? So one, three, five all sucked apparently, because number five was like they found God or whoever, um, with Cybok, which was
I
Spock's half
I
brother.
can't. I have to admit, I do actually like all the Star Trek movies to a degree. To a
Yeah,
degree. That's because I'm such a huge Star Trek fan
me
that I
too.
don't have any like extreme room for hatred towards them.
Right.
Except for Calvin Universe movie 2, the Wrath of Khan remake.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I think I hate it so much is I just cannot see Benedict Cumberbatch being Khan, and I would have much preferred if they rewrote it that Benedict Cumberbatch's character was just one of Khan's super soldiers that he had with him versus being Khan himself. I would have
Uh,
rather Khan died in both timelines, and instead of just that being the end of it, in the Kelvin timeline, it's this guy going, absolutely hate Captain Kirk, and I'm gonna find that guy, and I'm gonna kill him, and I'm gonna kill Spock, and I'm gonna because they did these things, and then I guess you could ask the question, well, how would they have met? And I would say the answer is they met prior in an episode of the original series, and that timeline would have all been the same for the most part, except now they're meeting again in the movie, and in this movie, instead of meeting Khan, it would be meeting this other super soldier that now hates you because you killed Khan, and that would have made so much more sense. So I hate the second movie because I'm like every time Benedict Cumberbatch comes on scene, and I love him, he's a great actor. I'm like, that's not Khan. Where is Carlo Montalban?
yeah.
Give me the real Khan.
I liked Hinkeldorp Wiffleboss or whatever his name is there. I thought I'm a big fan of his. Hinkeldorp. Yeah. No, Benedict Cumberbatch. He's good. Yeah. I think that's just creative license, right? Everybody wants to. Everybody has fanfic that they've written that they want to turn into a screenplay, which turns into a movie. I imagine that anybody who's written a movie has had some fanfic of something. Cumberbuns or whatever. Yeah. But yeah. It, it's nice because it does make you think, and it's different, right? And sometimes different is scary. When uh, not to not dropping names, but when LeVar Burton did his Reading Rainbow event on Kickstarter, uh, I actually went and bought the like the deluxe version. So we got to fly down. I flew down to LA with our family. We went to the YouTube studios. We got to see Jonathan Frakes and Kate Mulgrew and all them, and got to do pictures with them and stuff. And somebody in the crowd, the Kelvin movies had just come out, and Jonathan Frakes, who has produced a lot of the episodes of Picard, a couple of episodes, a couple of the movies, so he's produced some things, he's directed some things. He said he liked the movies, and I think the person in the audience was shocked to hear that, because it was like, well, you should be invited, you should have been involved with this. And he's like, no, I think they're great. I like what they're doing with these things. Now, if he'd have publicly said, hey, this is hot garbage and it's not good, it would have made more news than what had happened at that thing. But Reading Rainbow Kickstarter, it was so to give you an idea, Digital Ward, this was years ago. And I actually have some books. Mr. Burton had, yeah, Reading Rainbow. I think it was a Kickstarter. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so it was this one. It was one of the ones at the time I think had gotten like millions and millions of dollars and stuff. Yeah, 5.4 million dollars, and it had, I think the what the ultimate was. Yeah, see, there was obviously more stuff at the time, but it was, you could go to, their, event, which was in Los Angeles, have a Q&A, come home with some awesome souvenirs and some autographs. That was, I think, the last time I saw my friend Richard. Oh, duh, my bad. So yeah, it was this reading. It was the Reading Rainbow one here. So, um, but yeah, the $800 one I think was, get to meet. It wasn't William Shatner. It was I think it was this one here that we did. Jerry Ryan was there. LeVar. There was a bunch of folks in that one. So, but yeah, you got to. I mean, obviously there were much larger, stuff as well on that. But yeah, I got to go to YouTube Studios and got to meet them. Um, yeah, I think that was the last time I saw our friend Richard Arnold at the time, though. Yeah, but yeah, it was good times. Yeah, and you know, Jonathan Frakes was fairly very magnanimous about the Kelvin movies, and um, yeah, I think it's probably good to have different stories told, because if it stagnates, then it's not good. I mean, uh, I think, what was it? I think even in early Next Generation, we saw that some of the Starfleet and the Federation isn't completely idyllic in many cases. I think it was the season 2 cliffhanger with the worm people or whatever. And then, of course, you saw the conspiracy against the founders in DS9. I don't think we saw anything like that in Voyager, but there was, Section 31 in DS9. So there's definitely some shady shit going on in the Starfleet and in the Federation. Um, which any big organization is going to have weird shit like that. So. Wow. Um, Anybody want to talk Wheel of Time? No, I'm just kidding. If you get on our Discord, if you've ever read Wheel of Time, I'm going through and reading the audiobooks myself. I'm up to book 11 now, but we have a specific channel called the Wheel of Time Spoiler Channel. And me and Scott Pack, one of our moderators, is reading. He's reading the the actual books. I'm listening to the Audible books, and we're going through those right now to just basically talk shit about them. So if you've ever read those, I'm listening. I'm using the Audible books that I've purchased, all of them, including the Sanderson books. So, oh, sorry, Scott Peck is reading the physical books. I'm listening to the audiobooks. So he knows how to spell all the words, like Aes Sedai and all this stuff. I had to go and look it up, but there's like words and capitals, and he's like putting out people's names, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is. Oh, it's Fail or whoever. And I'm phonetically saying it because it's like all I know is her name is Fail, but I don't know how they spelled it in the books. So we're coming at odds with one another. But yeah, I'm up to book 11 now on that, and it's one of those book series that I always wanted to read when I knew they existed, but it was like I didn't know if I'd read through all those books, I never would have finished them because I'd have gotten up to like number 8, and then I had to have waited for 9, 10, and all the other ones. So it was one of those things. But I think it's fun, doing streams where we're not necessarily always talking about security. So I actually like this. I apologize to the 30 people that we've lost, thinking that I was always going to be talking about security, but yeah. So um, I think I'm gonna go. I want to quit while I'm ahead. Oh, the series. You mean the Wheel of Time series? There, Digital Warhead. So they have a like season 1 of like an amalgam of the books on Amazon Prime, and so um, not Wheat of Time. See, Google knows me, so it knows what to say. So it's a series of books. There we go. Series of books. It's 14 books. Robert Jordan wrote the first 11 of them, and then he died. And Brandon Sanderson had to come in and finish the last 3: Storm, Gathering Storm, Towers of Midnight, and Memory of Light. So I picked them up on Audible because I don't have time to sit down and read things. And I listen to a lot of podcasts and audiobooks already. So I was like, oh, well, they're in audio format. Um, cool. Um, so yeah, I mean, they're all available on Audible. You probably can find them on r/open directories or what have you. Um, I watched the Wheel of Time series after I got through about 8 books. That's on Amazon Prime. I like what they did with it in terms of casting and what have you. I actually thought Lan Mandragoran looked a lot like Alucard from Castlevania. Um, yeah, the audio sounds good. Yeah, Michael Redding and um, Kate, no, Kate Redding and Michael Kramer are the people who do they trade off. So it's like some books chapters has their when it's more female forward or non male forward they switch off. So Kate does some reading on some of these things, and then Michael does some bits. So it's really nice. And yeah, it's definitely something if you don't want to read them, then this is definitely an option. It's not like American Gods where they have a full audio cast, but it's definitely something you can do. So yeah, I'm a nerd, but it's like I got burnt out on InfoSec because when I was doing security, I would go out and take a walk, and then I would listen to security podcasts, and it was like, why am I doing that to myself? And then I started listening to other things outside of security, and I was like, screw it, I'll just start listening to a book series that I've kind of wanted to read forever. So, are you going to the Scottish joint? Okay, all right. Scottish joint for us is McDonald's. I apologize for all the Scottish people watching the show here. We call it the Scottish joint because it's what we do. So, but yeah, yeah, the audio does sound good. The Mars series, is that not John Carpenter, Barsoom? No, that's not it. Mars. I spelled it wrong. Barsoom. Yeah. Is it the Mars series? It's this stuff. Edgar Rice Burroughs, their digital warhead. Yeah, I think it's this stuff. Princess of Mars, Gods of Mars, Warlord of Mars. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do after this. Yeah, that's super class. Kim Robinson. Oh, I don't know what that one is. Kim Robinson. Mars trilogy. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. Red Mars, Green Mars, Blue Mars. Okay. Didn't know that was a thing. That's cool. Terraforming of the planet Mars. very cool. I tried watching, or I tried reading Foundation, the Asimov series. Got through one of those books and I won't do it again. I was like, holy shit! And there's like 7 or 8 of those books. I hadn't even bothered watching the series, and I was like, hey, I wanted
Hey,
to like
stop
it.
stop talking shit about my favorite book series.
Look, bro, I would have liked it, except
Watching you.
I,
Also, the series is dramatically different.
I'd
They
imagine
took
so.
everything that was pretty bad about the writing from the first book, which even Asimov completely admits was probably the worst thing he's ever written. I don't agree with his sentiment, but he made it clear that that was the worst thing he's ever written. It was too dry. None of it made like it was just horrible, just bad.
So
So they took
so
the TV show and they like completely stripped out everything and like made a new foundation for it, which I hated. Like the first 3 episodes, I watched the whole first season. It's good shit.
so how did they make a TV series out of 2 pages? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I bet if I went back and I bet if I went back and read it again, it would be better, or listen to it at least. Um, but yeah, what got me watching, or what got me doing audiobooks was the full audio cast. I did American Gods, and I didn't. I yeah, American Gods audiobook, and they had here, this one here from Audible. I bought this one. Fantastic, full voice cast. It was like a radio show, um, and if you haven't listened, and I shouldn't do that because I'm now guilty of doing what I said. It was so different than what I expected, having a full cast production of the show. Um, if you watch the series, go back and check this out. But this was good. It wasn't, oh my god, but definitely take a listen to this if you don't listen to audiobooks. I mean, the fact that it was pretty much like a voice cast, like old timey voice cast, was really nice. I actually picked up one of his other ones as well. Which one was it? It was not Sandman. It was the one with Ben Bova. Titan, Uranus, Sam Gunn, Omnibus, Saturn, Rock Rats. See, when I go out and take my walks, I don't want to think. I used to go out and I would listen to InfoSec podcasts, and then I was like, I don't ever get away from security, right? So I was listening to like High Rollers. Shout out to High Rollers, by the way. Shout out, shout out to High Rollers. They do a weekly, podcast or audio cast or Twitch stream of D&D stuff. Um, so, but yeah, I mean, so yeah, I'll grab some of those too. Which one would you recommend, Beta Wolf? Is there one first in the series, or is it just it doesn't matter which order you read them in? I would hope that that's not the case. Book one? Oh, wow, book 15. Holy crap. Okay, so it'd be on 100% free. See, Beta Wolf, I'm in on that too. What I do is I buy them from Audible because support the people. So, oh yeah, yeah, King County Library. I think Seattle Public Library has something similar where you can get Audible books or what have you. The Grand Tour, book 13. Holy crap, 13 books in that whole series by itself. Power Sat, Privateers, Empire Builders, Mars, Moonrise. Wow, that's 13 books. They're about, okay, 10 hours a piece. That's not bad. The Wheel of Time stuff that I was reading, like one of them is 40 hours. 40, yeah, something like that. So here's one 16 hours. That's not a bad read. You can get through one of those if you walked an hour a day, in 16 days, something like that. So you don't have to read them fully in order, but it's order and it's dense. Huh. Yeah, see, my issue is there's certain book series where it's like, oh, and then it's a prequel or something. So do you read them in the order they were published, or do you read them in the chronological order? For me, it's like, oh, I should read them in chronological order. Um, there was another one that I was Voyagers, Orion, and Grant Tour. I don't think that's in this series here. The Grand Tour series. Okay. 200,000 feet up, things go horribly wrong. An experimental low orbit space plane breaks up on reentry, falling to Earth over a trail of hundreds of miles, and in its wake is the beginning of the most important mission in the history of spaceflight. Okay. All right. Very cool. Yeah. Here, let me, in case you actually want to do that, there you go. Yeah, so I have, what do I have in my library? Library. Oh, I picked up this one. Um, William Esper teaching the Meisner technique for things like narration and voiceover work. I was looking at that one. I'm going to read The Origins of the Wheel of Time after I finish all the books because there's a lot of spoilery bits in that one. Memory of Light, Gathering Storm. Yeah. I picked up the Matthew Perry one. And of course, I've got some like somewhat technical stuff in here, building and scaling and performing technologies. So I'm all over the place. Tell Me How the World Ends, a Cyber Weapon Arms Race. The Iliad. Oh, yeah, my friend Dominic Keating did the narration for that one. He's got some good voice, gives good voice. He played Armory Officer. There he is. That's Uncle Dom. Yep, that's him. Good dude. He's funny. He's hilarious. Uh, Percy Jackson. That was for my daughter. Seriously, I don't do the Percy Jackson stuff. For my list, I'd go with Grand Tour or Voyagers. Hey, Lady P. Yeah, we're not. We talked about security earlier, and we're talking about other things now. So, I read this one on the choice from Eliot who M Goldratt. Um, it's part of the other ones in his series, like the goal, and yeah, I read this one. It's okay. I think that the examples in it are a bit dated. I also read this one and Beyond the Goal, Critical Chain. This is when I was going into project management, understanding things like the theory of constraints. The issue I've got with some of it is he expects 100% efficiency all the time, which I don't think he takes into account people burning out or the mental health of people in some cases. But I mean, it's a good book if you want to understand process improvement and ongoing improvement and reiterating upon improvement. It did read a bit. It's if you read the Phoenix Project, it's like that except 30 years earlier. So it's almost like they wrote the Phoenix Project and the Unicorn Project based on discussions like the goal. It was where you're going through and this guy's trying to solve problems and trying to save the auto factory, if you will. But yeah, I also read the Phoenix Project as well. We actually had Gene Kim on the show a couple times as well. Might be fun to have him back on. Yeah, IT DevOps. The only problem I had with the Phoenix Project was you knew that the person was going to succeed. It was almost like, yeah, absolutely, ADP. No one is 100% efficient 100% of the time. Yeah, and the whole point was, the theory of constraints is like, you're taking all this stuff and you're getting it to this point, and it's like, oh, the hose gets smaller, so now you've got all this stuff you've got to try to smush into this hole, and what you're trying to do is figure out not try to make this hole any larger, but trying to space out what's going on behind it, so that you don't get a big glut of stuff into your choke point in your organization. So and you can only go as fast as your slowest person, right? And the idea is to work within those constraints or to work more efficiently within those constraints, either by adding things like pipelining or, or what have you. So yeah. So let me see what else. Goal, critical chain. Yeah, yeah. Toyota Theory, I think, was another one. I have some real. Oh yeah, this was an interesting series. I haven't read that one yet. Based on mages that are genetically, the genetics of such makes them for that occur. And then Hitchhiker's Guide, and then those Norse mythology. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, yep. Norse mythology with Neil Gaiman. Stephen Fry. I haven't read that one yet. I'm probably going to pick that one up as well. Uh, Yeah. I mean, I'm fairly eclectic. Like when I go out and read, I don't want to all be the same shit. So, oh, this was a good one. Yeah. This one was narrated by Alan Cumming, Tim Curry, Simon Vance, Susan Dwerden, Dracula, full audio cast. And that was a really good one if you have a chance to read that one through. The Odyssey, written by Sir Ian McClellan, did that one as well. Um, Dune. I actually listened to the Dune on that one again. It's a full audio cast, which was very good. 21 hours if you want to go through that one. But yeah, and I've got some stuff in here as well. Thinker Toys. I listened to that one. I was okay with that one, but anyway, nobody wants to see what I'm reading these days, so I'll get off a lot of this. But yeah, go back if you wanted the security stuff and you're just showing up now. The first half hour, 45 minutes was me ranting about a little bit of the security stuff. Uh, if you want the audiobooks and the role playing games and the discussion that Beta Wolf had on Star Trek Picard and myself and other things, so you can go and check that out too. I actually like this. I don't think it should always be all about security. Maybe we can do some other stuff, some fun stuff that people might enjoy. Like, maybe we'll play some RPGs, or we can get Miss Berlin on to do some incident response tabletops, or we just talk about irreverent shit and get some more people who are interested in that too. So, Lady P, my theory is that people should work hard for the length of their attention and then walk away. If you fight the nature of who you are, you'll lose every time. We manage people. We need to learn to balance their attention spans, or we get out of tune and only negativity results. Right. Again, you got to take time for yourself, right? Block off that hour from noon to 1 and don't take any meetings in there, or find time to get away from your computer, and that shell you're looking to pop will always be there if it actually is there. You don't have to spend another 45 minutes of your lunch hour trying to find it. Um, you know, take time for yourself. Like we say, because you're the only you have. I got that from I think it was probably not paraphrased from Mr. Rogers, but pretty damn close. He would be the inspiration if I had to quote somebody with that information. So, anyway, well, not a completely security podcast, but that's okay. And hope there's always more work. Otherwise, your position is going to get eliminated tomorrow. That's right. If you've managed to solve all your problems, you didn't have a lot of problems to begin with. Feels like a fortune cookie kind of thing when I said that. It really is weird looking at yourself in YouTube when it's about 10 seconds delayed. But I appreciate the 11 viewers who've managed to stick with me and found this interesting enough, and all of the new followers that we've had from, everybody who rated today, Triplexity. Um, let's see, who all? Wow. Let me see. Tiberius. Yeah, Tiberius rated us. Yeah, we had a bunch of new followers, so I appreciate everybody for following and rating, and Beta Wolf for joining me in chat on Discord. I want to continue trying to do that. I know I started it up and then I stopped it because I couldn't figure out how to make it work effectively, but I think I've got it straightened out now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Friday. We'll be doing some Golang stuff. I did find the tutorials that I was looking for Golang on Tutorial Edge. It looks like I don't want to say they tried to hide it, but what? What? Well, you know what? Let's go for broke. We've already talked about come here, baby. Come here. Come on. I know. Come here, sweetheart. I love you. Yeah, come here. No, come here. Come on. I know. Come here. Yes. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, run up the numbers. Yeah. Tell everybody about our cat. Tell, yeah, tell them, Mama Kitty. What do you, yeah, tell them. Meow. No, don't get on the desk. No. Alt Twitch stream to test out account changes. I could do that digital. Actually, I do have one. I think it's called Tantalum Binturon. I don't know why I called it that, but it is there. So, what? Oh, you are ornery. What is it? Mouth. I see. Okay, well. All right. You want to go? You want to get down? Say bye. All right. Come on now. All right. Yeah, I have an account that I was actually going to use for more RPG related items, but it never seemed to happen. I need a cat cam. Well, I do have two GoPro 8s that I have intended to set up to be like a watch cam. I actually have I have an internal ring camera that I could also use for that too. But yeah, we're gonna we'll have a different setup when we get to San Diego. I plan on putting up the LED lights that my wife got me for Christmas that I'll be able to use. And yeah, that's Mama Kitty, Mama Snowball. So, but yeah, these were the tutorials that we found, including things like OAuth 2 for Go, WebAssembly for Go. There was a number of different things here. So Tutorial Edge does have stuff that is not premium that you have to pay for. So just to give you an idea, here's a WebAssembly how-to, which you can watch the videos, and I recommend watching the videos. We may not watch the videos on here, but they do have other examples on how to do simple examples of WebAssembly in here. So we may end up typing up some of this stuff and seeing how it works. They have MySQL tutorials, how to use MySQL and interact with a database, a Twitter bot, assuming the API still works. There was I think this is where I found the Discord bot in here too, but it has different snippets talking about handling panics, variadic functions, UUIDs, etc. So there's a ton of stuff in here on how to do all this, do stuff with Go and Golang. And you can definitely check that out in addition to some of the other stuff we were doing. So, all right, cool. I'm gonna go. Got to go and prep for dinner, and Friday we'll do some more Golang stuff. So hope everyone will be here. We'll even talk about TV stuff. In between, writing up, typing up things. So if you have something that's not security related or programming related, join us and come and hang out. So. All right. Well, I'm going to go. Y'all have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Try to find some time to just hang out and do nothing, or read some of the audio books that maybe is available to you. So, all right. Y'all have a good day. Oh, you know what? Who should we raid? Who should we raid? Hold on. Wait. Anybody want to guide the raid, or do that? I don't know who's online right now. But I would be remiss by not paying it forward for all the awesome people like Tiberius and Al Hazard who are not are not hooking us up here. So I don't know. Anybody got any idea? Heresy? All right, let's do Sid Heresy. Let's see. What in the hell is going on? Oh, okay. All right. There we go. Raiden Sid Heresy. All right. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see y'all on Friday, hopefully. All right. Take care then. Bye-bye now.